Let's check the radar here, Charles. I'm going to grab some water here for my voice goes out.
And right now, again, here's Pell City here. You've got Riverside. The warning's actually been trimmed out of St. Clair just a little bit. But anywhere right along I-20 and eastbound, you've got some large hail really along the river and to the east side as you head over towards Lincoln. Then another warning here between Heflin and the Georgia state line. I wouldn't doubt to see some possibly golf ball sized hail along I-20. So you don't want to be traveling in these areas. We're still getting some damage. I wouldn't be surprised to still be getting some damage reports out of these areas a little later, of course, as we do. So let's roll the show open for the 10 o'clock news, which starts right now.
ABC 3340 News starts now with a severe weather alert.
And you are looking at some of the images of just a bit of the damage that is peppering the landscape across portions of central Alabama. As you look at the hail damage, I want to let you know, seconds ago we got information here from the Calhoun County Sheriff. It says Highway 431 north of Alexandria is closed in both north and southbound lanes because of live power lines on an 18-wheeler. This severe weather situation is not over at this moment.
No, it's not. We are staying on top of the severe weather for you tonight. Right now, though, we want to go to the Cullman area. Brian Pia has been assessing some of the damage there. Brian, I know you had some major hail damage there.
Absolutely right, Brenda and Chris. I am outside the Tony Serra Nissan dealership here in South Cullman. Take a look at the damage to these cars. Look at the damage, the hail damage to the windshield. Absolutely amazing. Just pelted. The manager here told me more than 200 cars here are total losses. The good news, no injuries. Take a look at the size of the hail that caused the damage. And across the street at the Market Plot Center, major damage to several stores. The roof was destroyed, a number of stores flooded out, the merchandise totaled, but fortunately no injuries because most people closed up shop this afternoon. I spoke with Jason Grimmett, who works for the company that owns the shopping center.
Just amazing. Thank goodness everybody had heeded the warnings all day long to go home, close up. I think most everybody was closed and home, and schools was home. Thank goodness everybody took the warnings.
Now, Grimmett says the stores in that shopping center will be closed tomorrow, but they're going to work as quickly as they can to reopen those stores. Back here at the car dealership, they're going to be talking to their insurance company because major damage, 200 cars totaled. Live in Cullman, Brian Pia, ABC 3340 News.
Hey, Brian, really quick, if I could ask you a question. We are getting reports all over of this hail damage. About how many miles from the car dealership to where you were before was it that all this hail damage has happened?
I would say we are probably about a half a mile away from that shopping center where we were before. So pretty close proximity.
Still 3.5 miles and a lot of damage in the Cullman area.
All right, Brian, thanks for that. Let's continue our live team coverage right now with Jennifer Gonsolin. I believe that she's in Etowah County. Jennifer, can you hear me? And what is the situation where you are?
I can absolutely hear you guys. We've been here in Etowah County. We're in Southside right now. We've been here about 20 minutes, and in that amount of time, we've seen at least 5 different emergency cars, different ambulances head in the opposite direction. I want to show you this intersection right here. You see where they're directing traffic, and there's a line of cars back there backed up, and they're actually backed up on both sides. The situation there is that, and this is what we've been told since we've made it out here on the scene, is that there is a neighborhood about a mile down the street down there that has been really hit hard by winds, by the storm. We've heard different reports about what's going on out there, and we've been told that, I spoke with one guy earlier today. He told me that one of his friends, her dining room was destroyed from winds in this situation. So we're out here, we're still taking a look at the damage. We're going to be working to get you guys more information, but right now I want to let you know that the power is down out here in this area. There is a local church that's trying to provide help as well, but their power is out as well. So we're out here, we're on the scene, guys. We'll be bringing you more information as we get it ourselves. Reporting live here in Southside, Jennifer Gonsalves, ABC 3340 News.
All right, so Jennifer, once again, it has been, again, very difficult to get from place to place because of downed trees and some of the damage that you've seen.
Yeah, so the situation that we're hearing about are downed trees. There have been trees coming down on cars, trees coming down on houses. Trees actually even making it very difficult for emergency responders to get there themselves because they're possibly blocking roads as well. So we'll be bringing you guys more about this here, hopefully later on in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right, Jennifer Gonsalves, we'll be checking in with you later on during the newscast. I wanted to pass along Sheriff Matthew Wade saying deputies and rescue personnel right now trying to reach a man who is trapped in a vehicle on Hollingsworth Drive and Nance's Creek. Nance's Creek, James mentioned that several times during this severe weather situation here. So this is now something that is stretching all the way from Cullman to Cleburne County, this entire wide swath of an area, and also noteworthy, Brenda.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
yes, we have major power outages right now. 6,000 in Calhoun County, 4,900 in Etowah County, 1,500 in St. Clair County, 1,000 in Cleburne County, 500 in Blount County. You can see that there are major power outages tonight. A lot of that due to the down power lines, trees across them as well. So again, be careful. Do not try to get out tonight to try to get to a loved one or try to get to help tonight.
So we're just getting started on ABC 3340 News at 10. We have Chief Meteorologist James Spann in the studio here. He's updating that situation right now. Also, Charles Daniel is in as well, looking at the severe weather outbreak that has struck so many people in our state. We'll be right back with a live look of the radar.
We have some encouraging news on this night of destruction with the severe weather. Nance's Creek area, we have a report from many houses have been damaged there, but there is no loss of life, and that's according to the sheriff. All are okay. We do understand someone is being trying to be rescued from a vehicle. Emergency responders are on the scene there.
I wanted to let everybody know Calhoun County schools, we're told, will be closed tomorrow. Calhoun County schools will be closed tomorrow. I want to get to Patrick Thomas. He has been trying for more than an hour and a half, almost 2 hours now, to get to Jacksonville, where there are reports coming in of significant damage there. Patrick, where are you? What's the situation?
Chris, we're on Highway 431, and all you have to know is look right behind me. There's a tree down, there's some power lines, live power lines, and it has caused a major traffic issue. We were actually on our way to Jacksonville State University to check out some of those reports of storm damage that y'all have been talking about all night when we were stopped. This has been the situation for at least 30 minutes now. You can see Tyler spinning right over. You can see some of those power lines, that tree I referenced, and beyond that, you see some other cars that are stopped on the other side of the road. Now, I'm going to step back into frame, but I want y'all to just kind of stick with me right here because I want to show y'all and give y'all a sense of how bad traffic is behind us. If Tyler can come with me right now, this is sort of what the traffic jam looks like right here. Okay, now this is at least for a half a mile down the road, if not a mile down the road. These folks have been sitting here for the past 30 minutes, like I said, and could be sitting here for 30 more minutes. I was speaking to a deputy with the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, and he tells me that we're waiting on outbound power. I said, well, how long do you think they'll take to get here? He said, don't know. He said the reason this is so serious is that this is one of the bigger power lines, so they're treating it with the utmost sincerity and taking this with the most serious approach possible, and all these folks are basically sort of stranded in their vehicles until they get this situation cleared up, and we really don't know how long that would take, and that could be another 30 to 45 minutes, but it is going to be for the best interest of folks here and behind and around this area, because until someone gets here and clears the scene, this is a dangerous situation.
Patrick, so many questions I have, and I'm sure so many are running through your head as well. Did the first responders there, were they able to describe anything about the storm that came through? Do we know anything about injuries?
Right now, they haven't said anything pertaining to some of the situations that occurred on Jacksonville State's campus, and from what we can tell right here, there were just some power lines near or on top of an 18-wheeler, but there haven't been any injuries that we can tell of. There was an ambulance on scene earlier, but it left, so that's a good sign. What we're also seeing is that folks are starting to ask me, what exactly is happening. We have people like the gentleman behind me that are looking to turn around, but I would advise you sticking still because this mud is pretty soft, and hopefully he'll get across, but there's no telling what exactly can happen if you're going to be trying to turn around and find another way home. But as far as we know right now, Chris, we haven't heard of any injuries, and so hopefully it's going to stay that way. But we're still waiting to hear what the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office has to say about everything that's taken place tonight.
All right. We thank you for that, Patrick, and we will check back with you later. And be safe out there, number one. What also, you saw the line of traffic. There is a shoulder on the side of the road. Remember, that shoulder is for emergency vehicles only. A lot of times people, as you saw there, will try to do what that vehicle did behind Patrick. And I was concerned there for a moment for his safety, but you really do need to try to work with the emergency vehicles, get over. Many times you'll see an ambulance on a highway and people are not getting over. This is a critical night to make sure that they have all the clearance they can get.
So we have it all covered for you from Colburn to Calhoun County to Cherokee and all points in between. But I want to check in right now with our weather expert. That's Alabama's Chief Meteorologist, James Spann. James, you are tracking all of this, but of course our viewers at home, and I've been getting messages here, they want to know what it's like in their neighborhood. I don't know if you can do kind of a wide swath here.
We will do that right now. There you go. Again, if you are west of I-65, you're fine. The problems are east of I-65. We have some isolated showers in Shelby County in the Birmingham Metro, but again, for the Birmingham Metro, these are not severe. And it looks as though from Birmingham north and west, you're okay. The problems are east of Birmingham, and again, these are storms that have prompted severe thunderstorm warnings in effect through parts of St. Clair, Calhoun, and Cleburne counties. Tremendous amounts of rain, hail falling. We have no evidence of a tornado, no tornado warnings at this point. Heaviest rain falling in cities like Heflin, White Plains, Oxford, then back over down toward Munford and Talladega County around the Talladega Superspeedway. We still have a tornado watch in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. But again, notice the watch has been cleared over here on the western side of the state for counties like Fayette, Lamar, Pickens, Greene, Sumter, Walker, Winston, Marion, and Cullman. Now, part of Cullman County is under a flash flood warning. The counties in yellow, that is a tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight. Remains to be seen if they will be extending that, but that's until 11. And the one warning over here, that is a severe thunderstorm warning, and it looks like it's even a smaller polygon now. That's in effect for a fairly small part of Calhoun County. There's been a general weakening trend. But again, as you've seen with our news reporters, we have had major tornado damage, major hail damage. This has been an extremely challenging night with reports of injuries. And again, a lot beyond that, we just don't know. But the good news, after tonight, we turn colder. The air becomes stable. There's no chance of any severe weather for the rest of this week. I'll have the full forecast coming up in just a bit. Now back to Chris and Brenda.
James, this is concerning after covering severe weather for so many years. When I see a tweet come out like this, we talked about mutual aid moments ago.
Right.
I don't know if we can pull it up. There it is right there. Look at this tweet that just came out from Jeffco EMA. Mutual aid is a vital part of response to honor a county-to-county request. Birmingham Fire and Rescue, Vestavia Hills Fire Department are sending heavy rescue units, and Fultondale Fire is sending a light rescue to Jacksonville in Calhoun County. That gives me goosebumps because that tells me we've had a significant situation that James has been talking about. But now when we see so many emergency responders heading down there for mutual aid, it is really concerning what may have unfolded there tonight.
I know some people have been asking for a prayer for those people who have been hit tonight, and certainly in the days to come they will be needing a lot of support as well. And I'm sure the way people in central Alabama respond, they will respond. But we will take a break right now. We'll be right back with much more right after this.
So much happening tonight, so many lives affected with this tornado outbreak that occurred here. James has been on the air since, 6 o'clock, following warning after warning after warning, with Charles Daniel in here as well. I wanted to let you know we've been following the situation out of Jacksonville, where there's been a mutual aid request, and it sounds like a lot of resources are heading to Jacksonville right now. It's very concerning. Seconds ago, during the commercial break, Governor Ivey released a statement. I'm just going to read it from my computer, to be honest with you. And the governor says, quote, "There has been significant damage tonight in parts of Alabama. We're sending state resources to those affected areas, especially to Jacksonville and Calhoun County. We'll continue to monitor the situation." She goes on to ask for people to be safe and please stay out of the affected areas here. Certainly a significant situation unfolding there.
Yes, and we appreciate all responders who are heading to Jacksonville
Absolutely.
to help. There has been so much damage in so many parts of Alabama tonight. In Cullman County, significant damage there. We understand that the jail has been damaged too. Stephen Quinn is live there right now. Stephen, what can you tell us?
Well, throughout Cullman County, Brenda, wind and then hail have been the story. The wind that actually kicked up the debris here on the side of the jail here, and then this has been the main culprit, has been hail, still hours after it fell here. And the damage is really not here on the side. It came from above to the roof here of the Cullman County Jail. But if you take a look inside, you'll see exactly the extent of that damage as it literally went through the insulation of the roof here, causing some damage. We did get a chance to speak to Sheriff Matt Gentry a little bit ago. He tells us that none of the inmates inside of this jail were harmed. There were some vehicles outside in the parking lot that they used that were damaged. But keep in mind, this is a sheriff's office that is very busy today, not only having to taking care of the inmates here, but also for all of the people throughout this area that have been affected by those storms here. We did see a number of cars as well at Grace Chapel and some of those areas that had been affected by this. But so far here in Cullman County, at least, and I stress just here in Cullman County, it appears to have been mainly property damage, things that certainly can be rebuilt. Everyone happy that they are okay for now, as it appears that this area received mainly just that property damage. And as I mentioned, a lot of cars were impacted by this as well. And Lauren Walsh is also here, my colleague in Cullman County, and has more on that. I'm going to send it to her now.
And Stephen, that property damage you're talking about is certainly evident here at Mitch Smith's Chevrolet, where the dealership is estimating 390 cars damaged by hail here on the lot. If you can see right here, this is what the hail did to some of the windshields. And take a look at this car over here next to me. You can see significant damage not only on the windshield, but also you can see just the amount of dents on the hood of this car. And the damage does not stop in the front of cars. The sunroofs and even the glass in the back of some of these cars completely shattered through. Glass inside the cars, again, 390 cars here at Mitch Smith Chevrolet. And we were talking with the general manager, Mr. Paul Schaefer. He told me he's seen a lot of storms come through here. He's never seen anything quite like this. Here's how he described it. Do we have the sod? I don't hear it. Okay, well, we do have that, and I'll put it on my Twitter account so everyone can see it. But basically, he described the lot as someone coming around with a baseball bat and hitting all of the glass. That's how he's seen the car lot here. He said he's already started calling insurance. They're going to be getting the glass out of the cars and hopefully replacing a lot of the glass out here. I also need to tell you the Walmart just down the street, we had a crew go check that out. They told me that it's flooded inside, so a lot of damage throughout not just cars, but the property damage Stephen was talking about widespread throughout the area. For now, live in Cullman tonight, I'm Lauren Walsh, ABC 3340 News.
All right, Lauren, thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes, and we want to stress too, the good news right now in Cullman is that we do hear a lot about the property damage, and Stephen alluded to the fact that they have seen a lot of it, but not a lot of injuries, not a lot of anything that where people have been terribly hurt. And that's amazing, really, because we do hear that some of the roofs have actually been damaged. People had water pouring into their homes, and for them not to be injured in a case like that, that is really amazing tonight.
And we have much more to talk about here. We're going to go over the radar one more time with James Spann. We're going to check in also with our crews who are peppered from state line to let you know what is happening right now. And a lot of our focus also is on Jacksonville, as the state now saying that resources from the state of Alabama, the governor announced, heading now to Jacksonville. We'll be right back.
We're staying on top of the severe weather damage across the state of Alabama. We understand several counties have major damage, a concern right now for Jacksonville, where we understand many crews are heading that way to help with the emergency situation. Major damage across the state.
State resources are heading there right now. And let's check in right now with State EMA Director Jeff Smitherman. Mr. Smitherman, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I've got you fine.
We certainly appreciate your time. Very quickly, can you tell us what the situation is in Jacksonville?
So, yeah, we understand from the EMA director there that there's significant damage in the Jacksonville State University area. They're still working hard to totally identify and get a good idea of the extent of that damage there. I do know that the local law enforcement, emergency medical services, fire, rescue, and other local emergency management personnel are working their way throughout the damaged area, focused on life safety and any search and rescue efforts. So that's the priority right now in Jacksonville as we speak.
Jeff, we know that is the major concern right now. Do you know of injuries or any, we hope not, any loss of life in that area?
Yeah, we are not aware at this time through any official channels, any injury reports or fatalities. Not ruling out that couldn't be the case in the future, but we're letting the locals. It's an ongoing situation. They're as you can expect, they've got their hands full trying to get their grasp on the situation. So we're letting them work that, and as they report in their findings and what they're dealing with, of course we will pass that on. But as of now, we don't have any reports of injuries or fatalities from that system.
Well, let's hope it stays that way. State EMA Director Jeff Smitherman. Mr. Smitherman, I know that you have another interview that you're going to be doing, and you have some meetings to attend to. And we wanted to fulfill our promise to keep you to that time frame there. So we appreciate your quick moment there to speak with us, to talk about that. It is certainly a serious situation in Jacksonville, as he called it, significant damage.
That's right. We also know that many of the schools in the Cullman area are going to be closed tomorrow because of damage. Calhoun County also reporting that their schools will be closed tomorrow as well because of damage there.
All right. We're going to be checking in with Chief Meteorologist James Spann. He's going to update us on what you can expect the rest of the night and tomorrow. We'll be right back.
It's 10:32. I'm James Spann back in the Weather Center. Here's an update. The Weather Service has extended the tornado watch until midnight for these counties in East Alabama. On the positive side, the tornado watch has been canceled for Jefferson, Tuscaloosa, and Bibb counties. So again, Jefferson, Tuscaloosa, Bibb out of the tornado watch. We have a tornado watch in effect until midnight as far south as Chilton, Coosa, Shelby, Talladega, Clay, and Randolph. And again, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect over here for East Alabama because of large hail. Let's take a look at the storms over here, Charles. And again, we've had reports of large hail coming in with this band. This has been coming through places like Munford and Oxford. The storms are along and south of Interstate 20. Most of the hail reports about the size of maybe nickels on the high end. Nothing like the baseball to softball sized hail we saw earlier this evening, but again, that certainly is prompting these warnings. There is no evidence of any tornado activity in through here, so at this point we have no tornado warnings, but severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, again for these East Alabama counties, for parts of Calhoun and Cleburne counties for the big cluster of storms roughly along Interstate 20. What I wanted to do is to go in and take a look at some images coming off Wexo 5, if we can do this. This is a look at the Dollar General store in Jacksonville. And again, you can see that there is very extensive damage. And again, this is clearly going to be tornado damage. We have to wait until the first light of day really to determine the size of this tornado. Now, this is from the Reserve Apartments in Jacksonville. And you can see the damage to the vehicles, you can see the damage to the structure, and you know, in terms of how many people were hurt in there, who's okay, the extent of the damage, I don't know. It is very sketchy. We have limited cell service there. And again, but that is the Reserve Apartments. Now, this is the first image we have seen from Pete Matthews Coliseum. You know, the first reports that came in said the thing was destroyed, and that's not true. You can see the structure is intact. Obviously, all the trees are down in front of the Coliseum, and the roof apparently has had major damage. But you can see the building is still there. And again, that's Pete Matthews Coliseum on the campus of Jacksonville University. And again, that's that shot coming in from the Reserve Apartment Complex in Jacksonville. And apparently it was a very significant tornado. We have also had reports of extensive damage in Etowah County at Southside. And I know there have been injuries, but beyond that, I don't know more. And until we get news from the officials, and they're still doing search and rescue, they're still doing recovery, they're still in there working right now, the first responders. There's just a lot we don't know. We've been through these things many, many times. We often don't know the extent of the damage until the first light of day tomorrow morning. And I think that's going to be the case in this situation. We'll get our drone up there tomorrow morning. We'll fly the drone across the damaged areas in Etowah County and Southside and in Jacksonville and in other areas. Understand that we're not saying that's the only tornado damage we've had tonight. I know there's been more up in the Tennessee Valley, but the hail damage has been really remarkable. In fact, these are images coming in from Cullman. And you see the water on the floor and the damage to this business. That is from hail that basically damaged the roof, and they did this to these vehicles. And this is going to be a major monetary loss for individuals and businesses where this large hail has been falling tonight. These shots are from Bill Castle. Bill's our chief photographer. And many of these are coming from a car dealership, and you can see that these cars are just basically a total loss. And not only at this car dealership, we have people in their homes where their cars are parked outside that have had extensive damage. And again, this is back in that business in Cullman tonight. So it's been a very, very rough night across the state. And if you came through this night without a storm, if you came through this night without that kind of damage at your house, if you are not injured, you're blessed and you should be thankful, because not everybody had the same type of luck that you had today. But again, you can see this is from the Tony Sarah dealership up in Cullman. And again, thanks to Bill Castle for taking the time to send those in. That's what caused that damage. I mean, this 4-inch hail is softball size. And by golly, that's 4-inch hail. And imagine the vertical velocity that thing will achieve when these storms are 50, 60,000 feet. And that is what's caused so much damage to homes and businesses and vehicles in many counties across North Alabama. And of course, on top of the hail damage, we've had the tornado damage. So let's go back to the radar one more time. And this is a look at the current situation. We have heavy storms and heavy rain falling along Interstate 20. The heavier rain begins in Talladega County down around the southern tip of Lake Logan Martin, down around the dam, up toward the Talladega Superspeedway, along and south of Interstate 20. The band is slowly sagging down to the south at this point. And after midnight, the air should become more stable and the severe weather threat will diminish. But the Weather Service believed the right thing to do was to extend the tornado watch for one more hour. It was originally set to expire at 11. Now it's going to expire at 12 midnight tonight. We should mention these are aerial flood warnings up here for Etowah and Blount counties. That is a flash flood warning for Cullman County. And inevitably, we've got some flooding problems down through here as well, through parts of East Alabama. And again, those are severe thunderstorm warnings in effect over here on the eastern side of the state. I don't know if we can do this, Charles, but you're a magic man. If we can pull up the 7-day that we made earlier today, if it's hard to do, we'll wait later, but I just wanted to show.
Who loves you, man? Who loves you, man?
You're good. Wow. I thought we'd move past today and understand tomorrow is going to be cloudy and cooler with a chance of some scattered light rain. We'll be in the 50s all day. In fact, areas north of Birmingham might even fall in the 40s. It is going to be a different kind of day. And in these mornings here, you see these mid-30s, the colder spots could go down there to the freezing mark, and we could see some frost. So be aware of that, growers. 59 Wednesday, sunny. Dry Thursday, Friday. We go back in the 60s. Then for the weekend, some risk of showers in here, but for now it doesn't look like a washout. Highs for Saturday and Sunday should be in the low 70s. We'll come back later. We have more images. We have more videos, so do not go away. Chris and Brenda, back to you.
All right, James, I want to let you know we continue to check in with our reporters in the field from Cullman, and also Patrick Thomas is still trying to get to the Jacksonville area. Many of the roads in that, in and around, I should say, that area now closed because of so many down power lines and trees.
And also, if you are trying to get out to see what the damage might be or get out to a loved one, we urge you to stay home because chances are you're going to be stuck in a very, very long line of traffic. Patrick showed us a line of traffic that stretched for miles. It's very dangerous out there. The reason being there are power lines across the roads. There are trees down, and chances are you're not going to be able to get where you're trying to go. The roadways need to stay clear. The shoulders need to stay clear for the emergency vehicles because we do understand, especially in the Jacksonville area, that many responders, emergency responders, are on the way there. So the best thing that you can do to help tonight is to stay inside. Too many treacherous areas, especially with these storms. And again, even if you're walking around the neighborhood, chances are there could be a nail, there could be something that could puncture a foot. So the best thing that you can do to help the situation tonight is to stay put, and at the dawn tomorrow we will know so much more. There will be many ways, if your heart goes out to these people that have been affected, that you can help. But tonight the best thing that you can do for them is to stay off the roads.
Yeah, and a lot of state and local agencies are now heading to Jacksonville, as you touched on. The governor announced that state agencies and the full resources of the state are now en route to Jacksonville. Also, Jefferson County EMA announcing that Birmingham, Vestavia, Fultondale, if I'm not mistaken, also heading in that direction as part of a mutual aid situation.
That's right. And also schools closed tomorrow in Calhoun County, also the Cullman area as well. Major damage there. You saw just a moment ago James Band showing a business there with water on the floor. Many of the roofs have been damaged or ripped off. Of course, in the Jacksonville area, we have heard of the apartment complex that has been damaged, and of course this building here at
this is in Jacksonville.
This
is one of our first images there. And where's this image coming from? If somebody in the it's one of the storm chasers. James, you might be able to help us. They're trying to get a phone connection with the storm chaser. Can anybody help me out with the location here?
It looks like Logan Hall.
I believe. I'm just gonna. I gotta
walk on over there, Chris.
Yeah, I'm trying to get close. It is Logan Hall. Good eyes, Brenda. You're exactly right.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Now look at that. The roof, and it looks like there's a good bit of debris at the base of the building as well. So the blessing in all of this, as we have mentioned before, is that this is spring break.
Oh yes.
For Jacksonville State University students. We know that many of them have gone on to spring break or gone home, but there are always those students that stick around. So our hearts go out to them, prayers for them tonight as well, and we hope that we can get Brandon on the phone.
He is on the phone.
Oh, he is on the phone
I'm here
now. Okay, Brandon, tell us what you are seeing in Jacksonville. This is amazing. That roof looks like it's completely damaged. Is that right?
Yeah, this is actually Logan Hall on the campus. The roof is completely missing from it. There's one little section that's left on it, seeing some lights flashing like the alarms on it, and that's about it. Pulled into town about 15 minutes ago. Trees down throughout the town. Can't tell exactly how bad the damage is at this point. Apparently it's pretty significant with a roof with a building this size gone. But the damage path is pretty wide. I can't tell exactly which way it went at this point, so it had to be a pretty big tornado. I just can't tell exactly how significant or where the worst areas are at this time.
James, I want to bring you in on this since you're familiar also as he's setting the scene here. What do you glean from this?
And it's obvious that this is going to be not your EF0 spin-up tornado. This is going to be a larger tornado. And understand what's going to happen. The Weather Service will send a survey team in here tomorrow to assess this damage, and we'll know the rating. But what we don't know is the other damage on campus. And I'm sorry, who's the chaser with us?
Brandon?
Hey, Brandon, this is James Spann. How you doing?
Hey, James Spann. Good. How are you?
Good. So you've been doing this a while. What else can you tell us? You got in there. What other damage did you see coming into town away from campus?
I saw lots of trees and power lines down, trees on homes. One car looked like it had gone out and hit a telephone pole. I can't tell if that's from driving or tornado. Structural damage on different homes, and probably the worst I've seen so far. But I've only been here a few minutes. It's hard to get around. There's no power, so I'm seeing just a very small snippet of what the actual damage is for the town. I can tell you it's at least EF2. Looking at this right here, whether or not there's worse areas around here, I really can't say.
How about I would assume the power is out across most of the campus in the town.
It is. The south side of Jacksonville has power. The north side and around the campus, about a mile on either side of the campus, I know does not. I haven't been farther north than that. But the areas that were hit absolutely do not have power. Most of the poles and lines are all either snapped laying on the road or the telephone poles are down, transformers are down. So it's pretty widespread damage right here.
And we have a lot of folks around the country watching this and understand it's spring break. But there are still some students on campus, and we still have some very nervous mamas and daddies and relatives. Do you know anything about the health and welfare of the people in town, how they fared?
I don't. Like I said, I just came in about 15 minutes ago, came in blind. I heard it looked really bad, but sometimes I'll get those reports come in, and it's really not. In this case, it is pretty bad. I've not seen anything like, buildings completely gone, nothing but slabs left or anything like that right now. I can't tell you what's on the other side of town because I haven't been there yet. But I can tell you there was significant damage and structural damage to some buildings. I just can't tell you exactly how much just yet. We might not know till daylight. It's pretty widespread through the town.
Right, and what we're going to do, we'll get our drone up over that damage tomorrow morning, and the Weather Service will get in there and assess this. You go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm actually going to stay the night here and put the drone up at first light, so we'll have good video of it and understanding then.
Now, you were able to get in. How is security? We understand that many of the major roads are blocked off around there.
There are, media, so they'll let media in. I've been staying out of their way, though. I've learned a long time ago, you just stay out their way, and they'll stay out of yours. So they're still doing search and rescue in some places, and they have those blocked off. I have not tried to get in. I have no desire to try and get in and get in their way for that. So once they've cleared the search and rescue, I'll try and get in some of the other areas of town.
Okay, Brandon, well, thank you for getting in there, and thank you for your live stream. Brenda, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious. You mentioned areas of search and rescue. I know people at home who may have loved ones in that area would certainly like to know what areas are they conducting the search and rescue.
Unfortunately, I'm not from the area. I know it's areas around the campus that I know for sure. Outside of that, it's hard to move around. There's so many roads are closed due to trees down are just impassable. Then the ones that are remaining open are pretty filled with traffic. There's no electricity, so the traffic lights aren't working, so the traffic's backed up just about everywhere. And then the police are doing search and rescue and have roads closed down. So it's just difficult to move around. It's one of the things we'll probably just not know a whole lot until the morning.
Wow. Brandon Clements from Live Storm Media, we certainly appreciate you helping us tell this story here. But when you look at those images there, I know we've said it a few different times, but Brenda, you're exactly right. The fact that they're on spring break may have actually saved lives.
Yes, absolutely. And we will continue to check in maybe with Brandon, of course, and find out. There has been some word that the Reserve, I believe, apartment complex has people inside, or at least one person inside that we have heard through social media. That is not confirmed.
Yes, and again, I want to remind everybody that so many resources are heading down to that area. So it's a fluid situation, so we're just relying on official avenues here to get that information out. And as a reminder, if you weren't listening a few minutes ago, we had State EMA Director Jeff Smitherman on, who said at this point they have significant damage, and you just saw it there. The video doesn't lie. And James is really pinpointing this as it was unfolding. Right. And James, when you look at these images here, it looks like it's still raining there, as a matter of fact.
They're on the northern edge of the rain mass. The heavier rain, thankfully, is south of there. It's pouring south of Jacksonville, down in the far southern part of Calhoun County. But I tell you what, if we can take WEX 05, I want to show you some video of that tornado. And this is just in, and this is what that thing looked like coming through Jacksonville, approaching Jacksonville earlier this evening. And again, this is from Rita Lewis. Greg Davis sent this to me, and this is from his mom, Rita Lewis. And again, that is a look at the Jacksonville tornado approaching earlier this evening. And again, you can see that it's a pretty large tornado from the looks of this, a fairly large wedge-type tornado. And again, at night, we just don't know. I don't know the EF rating. There's nobody could determine that, but there's obviously very substantial damage coming around from all the reports and what we've seen there from Brandon's live stream. But again, this was taken from Rita Lewis earlier this evening as it approached Jacksonville. And this is not one of these bogus videos. I've vetted this thing through multiple sources, and we've got the right person that shot the video. We want to thank Greg and Rita for getting this to us this evening, but that's what it looked like as it approached the town. There was a good tornado warning in effect. You know, the lead time, Charles, I'm trying to think. The lead time was, what, 15 minutes on that?
15, maybe 20 minutes. I mean, we had some good lead times tonight. And yeah.
Again, that's a credit to the National Weather Service in Birmingham for their work. We don't issue the warnings. They do. And again, they have done just a fine job tonight. But again, that's what that thing looked like as it approached Jacksonville tonight. So I just wanted to show you that video of what seems to be a very significant large tornado. And understand, it didn't stop in Jacksonville. That thing came through and moved through northern Cleburne County as well. And we also have tornado damage apparently at Southside, and that's another big story. And again, I think we have Jennifer, who is there. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And hopefully we can go back to her. I mean, not now. Right. Right. Hopefully we can go back to them, because that's another very big story. We don't want to forget what happened in Southside. What happens, you focus on one and you don't want to let another one go. We're not going to let that story go.
We do have Jennifer now. Okay. She is outside of Southside, so we want to go to her right now to find out the very latest that she has discovered. Jennifer?
Hey guys, so we are still here in Southside, and at this time officials are, as you can see, they're still sort of rerouting traffic. The traffic is not backed up as it was earlier today, but what was happening is that people are being trapped from getting into their homes. Some of them actually are being trapped inside their homes. They cannot get out. So those are the latest reports that we've heard so far. And once again, police, they're blocking off this road right here, because just down this road, this is Highway 77, just down this road there are some downed power lines, and so of course they're working with the power company to try and get those lines off of the streets to allow a much more safe route down this street. We are again hearing that there are down trees as well, blocking roadways, and again trees on the top of homes, blocking some residents from even getting outside of their homes. There is a church over here. It's called Southside Baptist Church, and they are assisting any residents who are in need of help. But their only issue here is that their power is out. But again, they are here. They're providing some assistance for residents who need it. So we're out here, guys. We're providing updates as we get those ourselves. Back to you in the station.
All right, Jennifer, thank you very much for that. And she mentioned the power lines, and I just wanted to, I pulled out my phone here because Alabama Power was putting out some information, and I wanted to get everybody the latest information. Right now, at last check, 15,000 customers, Alabama Power customers, were without power. The breakdown is as follows here: 6,000 in Calhoun County, 4,900 in Etowah County, 1,500 in St. Clair County, 1,000 in Cleburne, 500 in Blount County. Then they tweeted out just a short time ago the concern regarding the downed power lines, and you are just touching on this, that people should not drive over them. Right. Alabama Power reminding everybody, please stay away from downed power lines. Don't drive over them, grab them, don't walk across them, don't even approach to take a picture, because you have to assume that they're energized.
We do have a lot of people who want to go out and see firsthand and load pictures on social media, but that is the last thing that you need to do tonight. You need to stay home, stay safe, let the emergency responders do their jobs. And we do have a major situation in many counties in East Alabama and Jacksonville. So chances are, if you did get close to Jacksonville, you would not be allowed to get in to see the damage firsthand. Your best seat is right where you're sitting right now. You sit in your house and watch us here on ABC 3340. Check us out on the ABC 3340 app. James Spann has thousands and thousands of pictures of the weather from around the state. This is Brandon driving around. He has been assessing some of the damage, and we so appreciate it. You could see Logan Hall, the roof was ripped off. Now he is attempting to move around Jacksonville right now. You can see that it's very, very dark there, Chris. I remember the April 8th tornado covered it. We were sent to cover it actually just as it passed the Edgewater area, and that struck me as one of the most amazing sights I have ever seen in my life. You can see how dark it is there. The power is out. It is just like a black hole. So that's the other thing. It is very dangerous because you cannot often see if you come upon a power line or you come upon something broken or nails or debris if you're in your car or if you're walking in the area. But it is so dark because the power in the whole area will have to be out, because those lines don't need to be live as they are moving them. The Alabama Power Crews do an amazing job, so you need to clear the way and let them through.
As we look at some of these live images, I want to bring back in James and Charles as well. I know you guys have been updating the maps, the radar. Charles, what are you seeing right now with the responders who are heading to Jacksonville and even to Jennifer Gonsolin's location there, south side?
Well, you know, all crews are mobilizing, and that's just the thing. You've just got crews from neighboring communities all responding, and and that's just what we're going to see, I think, through the night. The problem is we just don't want people out there that aren't organized with these groups. You know, if you're ham radio operators, they're kind of in, and they help coordinate some of the efforts that we're seeing. So just know that tonight you need to be in home, stay home. If you are a trained first responder and you can respond and you haven't been called in, maybe it's time to call in and double check. But again, it's going to be a while. I always say the Alabama Power Crews especially, please have patience with them. They've got to get up, leave their families to go out and try to restore power as fast as they can. But it's a very dangerous situation, even when you still have some rain and some windy conditions. If just even a good breeze is coming through, oftentimes they can't get up there and work on those lines. So remember, just be safe, safety first, and just give those guys and ladies as well the time to get the power back on, and let those first responders just do their job.
Well, I also wanted to ask you, those first responders who may be heading from Jefferson County heading towards Jacksonville, is it still raining there? Is it still storming there? Is there still a threat?
Well, the threat has diminished quite a bit. In Jacksonville, I would say the rain is over with. I think the threat's pretty much over with as well. You can see here on the radar, you've got some showers kind of pushing on through, and that's still actually probably just a little bit of light rain south of town, but the heaviest of the storm activity is well along and south of I-20 now, and I think really the threat's beginning to wind down. The tornado watch was extended through midnight tonight, but I will anticipate that they'll be trimming back some of those counties here very soon. So we'll start to see those pulling out again, some of those counties from the west to east as the storms continue to push east and out of the state. We're not completely out of the woods by any means, but again, still some stronger storms over eastern parts of the state. But as they get into the Oxford-Anniston area, headed up towards Jacksonville, it looks like the rain is beginning to wind down. They may just run into some rain there along the interstate, so that's good news.
And we have been focusing on the eastern side, so Tuscaloosa, some of the other parts of Alabama, that threat should be It's winding down.
Right. The threat for Tuscaloosa County, Jefferson County, Blount County have been removed from the tornado watch. You can see the areas highlighted here. So Chilton, Coosa, Shelby, Talladega, Clay, Cleburne, and then Randolph. You get up into Calhoun County as well. And I don't know, I might have missed St. Clair, but St. Clair included in that. And again, we'll trim these back as we continue, or they may just blanket clear this at midnight once they allow this to go. James?
I want to mention we got more school closings. This is coming from Calhoun County EMA. The following schools are closed tomorrow: Calhoun County Schools, Jacksonville Christian Academy, the Donahoe School, Sacred Heart of Jesus Catholic School in Anniston. Those are all closed. So again, because of storm damage, all Calhoun County schools are closed tomorrow. Jacksonville Christian Academy, the Donahoe School, Sacred Heart of Jesus Catholic School in Anniston, and those are closed. So that's the situation there. We got more of those closings coming in here. And let me read one report. And again, we're starting to hear from folks with relatives in Jacksonville. This is from an assistant professor in Statesboro, Georgia, at a college there. She says, my sister is safe away for spring break, but her JSU apartment is basically gone. And again, that's what we've talked about. It's just a God kind of thing that a lot of these kids weren't in town. Her aunt and uncle are safe, but they're trapped in one room of what is left of their house in Jacksonville. So understand, we have people that are trapped. We have people that are still needing rescue. It is a very, very intense search and rescue scene in Jacksonville right now. And again, it's a situation. Do we have Brandon's live stream by any chance, or is he down again? Okay.
It looks like
again,
it's connected.
With that coming up and down.
All right.
Yeah, let's if we've got his stream, I'd like to take that because he again is in Jacksonville, and and he's got issues. There we go. This is Jacksonville.
Wow, look at that.
So what I want to do is I want to leave this up the whole time, and understand we know that there's severe damage in Southside, and as soon as we get Jennifer in there, we are going to show Southside, but again, we want to focus on these two areas. And of course, we're not going to forget all the hail damage, but this is a live look at Jacksonville right now. And you're going to see that video buffering like that. We have, anytime you got a tornado situation like this, all these fancy phones and live views and everything else, they don't work so well sometimes. But again, this is coming from Brandon, and we'll hold it here for a second and see if it comes back up. But communication is going to be a big problem getting in there. But Brandon, okay, we understand we have to show some Russellville video, so let's just roll that. This is from earlier today. This was the first batch of severe storms that came through Franklin County. Franklin County is up in the Tennessee Valley, and again, we've had some damage there. The extent of damage, I don't know. Some of the most serious damage up in the Tennessee Valley came from a storm that passed near Elkmont and Ardmore, near the Tennessee state line. But you can obviously see there's some flying debris. Fierce, ferocious winds in this storm. It was obviously severe. This was warned. It was a tornado-warned storm. I don't know if the damage in Russellville is caused